All right, let's get started. Good morning once again, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Welcome to this short 45 minutes webinar on a very interesting topic, which is AI-driven AWS RI management, which will help you achieving maximum RI coverage with zero commitments. I'm sure it must be an interesting topic for everyone here. So yeah, it's great to have you all. My name is Naman Jain. I lead sales and strategy for CloudKeeper. It's my privilege to be the host for the webinar today. We'll start with a quick introduction about the company, and then we'll talk about the overall FinOps ecosystem, the need for FinOps. We'll also talk about our primarily AWS commitment constructs. Will help you understand the different constructs that exist. We'll then take you through the complexity and challenges that are associated when we talk about RIs and commitment. Then we'll take this opportunity to also introduce you to CloudKeeper, a highly differentiated and one of its kind AWS cost optimization and FinOps solution. At the end of the webinar, in last 10 minutes, we would be more than happy to take up the questions. I guess we can get started, and I'll start with the introduction about the company, and then I'll introduce you to Aman Agarwal. About CloudKeeper, we are a technology services company, and we help businesses that includes enterprises, SaaS, and consumer tech companies to build and run cost-efficient solutions on AWS. We are 15-year-old, founded in 2008, have been AWS partner over 10 years. We are a premier consulting partner of AWS. We are an ISO 27001 certified, SOC 2 compliant and certified organization with over 300 clients across 5 continents, and we have more than 25 AWS EDP customers as well, managed by CloudKeeper. We manage over $120 million of AWS spend for these 300 customers that we have, and we have been able to deliver more than $100 million of savings for these customers. Across all these customers, we are able to save average 20% on their overall monthly spend that they have on AWS. As an organization, we are 2,500 people company with a team of close to 300 cloud DevOps and FinOps professionals. We are an AWS premier consulting partner, as I said, but little background about our presence and relationship with AWS. We became AWS partner in 2013, promoted to premier, which is the highest tier partner, in 2018. Today we have more than 150 certifications and more than 1,000 accreditations on AWS. We are also authorized channel resellers for various geographies across the globe, and we are ranked among top 5 partners for global WAR well-architected reviews challenge conducted by AWS. In addition to that, we have several competency badges, and we are part of several partner programs, as you can see on the screen as well. So that's on the high level about us. We thought we'll quickly talk about who we are before getting into the webinar. And from here, I'll hand it over to Aman Agarwal. Aman Agarwal heads the CloudKeeper business to the new. Aman himself is an AWS certified professional, a FinOps practitioner with over 15 years of experience in cloud and FinOps. Aman, over to you.
Thank you so much, Naman. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So as we all understand, the cloud spend is continuously growing, and so is the need for FinOps. We took some reference from a relatively now a bit old report from Flexera that was published in 2021, which suggests that cost optimization continues to be a top priority for 61% of the organizations, and 65% of the IT budget is kind of dedicated towards cloud. It could be like actively running cloud applications on cloud, or modernization, or moving new workloads to cloud, right? And 51% of those organizations agree that they end up overspending as compared to their budget, and approximately 35% of the overall cloud spend is considered as waste. So there is a lot of opportunity to optimize the spend. However, there is a lot of nuances, challenges when it comes to tracking. It's a complex and overwhelming options that Amazon provides. There are literally more than 300,000 SKUs that Amazon offers. There are various price models varying from different limitations, which we'll talk about in detail. There are different nuances of each pricing construct. It is like you can choose to pay on demand, you can choose to go with reservation, there is an option for saving plan, then there are private pricing constructs. All of those comes with certain strings attached. So we'll talk about some of those. There is something that we call as flexibility tax. If you want the complete flexibility that cloud offered, you have to run everything on demand. And if you want to optimize on the price, the first thing that you need to get into some kind of commitments to reduce that cost, which also means that you are giving away a bit of that flexibility and also in a way committing yourself to that platform for a long-term use. There are different restrictions in terms of volumes that an organization can achieve. Generally, there is not a single person who can take those decisions. So there is a dependency on collaboration between business, technology, and finance teams to take those real-time decisions on what the future usage look like, so what kind of commitments need to be done. And then there are varied discount options across different price constructs. Also, different architectural changes as well as need to be governed based on the commitments that have already been done to ensure that there is like you do not end up paying for any uncommitted like unused capacity that you have already committed. So let's take a look at some of the simple like what are the different commitment constructs and different overwhelming number of purchase options that Amazon provides. So there are like when Amazon talks about reservations or savings plan, there are four primary constructs, which is standard reservations, convertible reservations, EC2 saving plan, and compute saving plan. And then there are three different payment options. You can choose to pay no upfront, you can choose to make partial upfront payment, or you can choose to make all upfront. So no upfront will offer you relatively lower discounts, while all upfront will have much higher discounts compared to the no upfront option. There are two different tenures. You can choose to commit for 1 year and 3 year. Of course, 3 years offers much higher savings. If we just look at different combinations because of these three different attributes, then there are literally 24 purchase options for, in a way, each server or each instance that you're running in your AWS account. There is a further complexity that you need to consider because whatever you're going to choose also depends upon whether you intend to run your infrastructure in the same region, continue to use the same operating system, do you intend to change the instance family, or whether that price construct offers the size flexibility or not. Here is like more detailed view of different commitment constructs. As we talked about, there is like 1 or 3 year tenure. In terms of savings, standard reservations offer maximum savings. So just for it, like if we are looking at, so and generally the savings for all these constructs are much higher on Linux and relatively lower, least on Windows, and somewhere in between for the other operating systems like SUSE or Red Hat Linux. So in this example, we have taken all Linux, open source Linux based instances, where for a standard reservation, generally they offer 57% discount on a no upfront 3 year commitment. The risk is of paying for unused commitments is pretty high because, as we can see, standard reservations are very specific commitments where you're committing to a particular instance family, instance type, or also an operating system in a particular region. So a typical construct would be that I'm committing to use M5 large or M6G instance in North Virginia running on a Linux machine, on a Linux operating system. That's the construct that you have to look at if you want to go with standard reservation. Convertible is somewhat same, but it does allow you to change the operating system or the instance family or the instance size as and when required. However, note that as and when you change the infrastructure, you have to manually go at modify your commitments to ensure that you do not get charged for the unused capacity. Amazon addressed this limitation by offering savings plan, which automatically apply across different constructs. For example, instead of convertible reservation, if you choose a compute saving plan and you change an instance type, Amazon automatically starts applying those benefits to the new instance type that you've launched. Compute saving plan is the only option which does provide a region flexibility as well. So if somebody is, let's say, moving from North Virginia to Ohio or some other region, then compute saving plan appears to be the most flexible option. Among these, standard reservation is the only option which you can try and resell at what Amazon calls as their secondary reservation marketplace. So customers can put in their standard reservations on sale. Of course, there has to be a buyer on the other hand who is ready to take over those commitments. If not, then the same customer continues to incur the cost for those commitments. So let's look at once we understand the nuances, we understand what are the different constructs, and maybe let's say I'm naive, beginner, compute saving plan looks like a very easy option to move forward with. All I need to be confident is that yes, the future looks, I'm very bullish about the business and I can easily do that commitment. So a simple saving construct would look like this, where we are saying we're opting for a compute saving plans with a no upfront payment option. And we're committing to a $10 value of $10 per hour. That's another thing that we need to be aware of. Any of the constructs that we're committing, many a times customers feel that, hey, I am probably committing for $10,000 of spend every month, or maybe a particular spend for 1 year or 3 years, which is not the case. The commitment that we are doing is tracked at every hour level, which means if you're running, let's say, 10 instances for 24 hours, you can make a commitment for all those 10 instances. However, if you compare the on-demand price of 20 instances running for 12 hours, probably the on-demand price will be the same, but none of the commitment constructs will offer you similar savings, because for 10 hours, 10 instances will be billed at those committed pricing. The remaining 10 instances will be billed at the on-demand pricing. But for the remaining 12 hours, when you are not running any of those instances, then Amazon will still continue to charge you for that hourly commitment that you have made under any of the 4 constructs that we looked at. So let's say we went ahead and did a commitment of $10 per hour. It's a 3-year commitment. What customers generally look at is savings, that, okay, I'm committing for this $10 per hour converts to, for a 720 hour per month, it converts to $200 of monthly commitment, or $263,000 of commitment for the next 3 years. Of course, there are similar savings. In 3 years, we are expecting to reduce our cost by 48%. So if we are using Linux, then we'll end up saving $126,000. And if we are using Windows, we'll still end up saving $68,000 in next 3 years. That looks like an easy decision and probably a good amount of savings. Generally, what we see is that what customers don't realize, they don't look at the associated obligations. So here is how does a typical timeline or your journey in those commitment duration look like? So the first table highlights that if you're using Linux, where you're expecting 48% savings, on day one, you've just made the commitment, you are yet to see the savings, but now you have a commitment obligation of $262,000 to be paid to Amazon in the next 3 years. At the end of year one, you would have saved $42,000. Again, on a spend of $7,200, you are saving close to $3,500 on a monthly basis. Hence, in 12 months, that converts to $42,000. And you will still have a commitment obligation of $175,000 at the end of year one. So think of a scenario when your business priorities change, or for whatever reason you realize that maybe it makes more sense for you to run your workloads on Azure or GCP, then that's the obligation that you're looking at. Even at the end of year two, you are relatively just breaking even. Only when you are running that same meeting those commitments for the complete 3 years, that is when you achieve the desired savings and you are free of the commitment obligations that were associated. But of course, you will still go ahead and renew those commitments and the cycle will continue. And this is a scenario, this is even like more riskier when you look at commitment for Windows servers, where the average saving is 26%. So even at the end of 2 years, you would have achieved a savings of $46,000, but the pending commitment obligations would still be $87,000. And in both the cases, currently we are not factoring in two areas. One, we are assuming that at least for that tenure, you have done 100% utilization. If there were certain hours when you were not utilizing those commitments, of course, the savings achieved will be even lower than the numbers that we are looking at. At the same time, we are getting these benefits only at the inventory that we have already committed. So out of 100 servers, if we have gone ahead and made the commitment for, let's say, 60% of our inventory, then we are enjoying these savings only on those 60% servers. The rest 40% servers will continue to get built on demand. And there are certain other considerations which generally lead to indecisiveness. And most of the time we see that customers do a very conservative commitments when it comes to reservation and savings plan. And at the same time, more than 90% of the customers will limit themselves to 1 year commitments just because there is not a good visibility for the next 3 years. There could be uncertain macroeconomic conditions. In most of the cases, there is a distributed ownership of cloud costs among different teams leading different business units or different products. So it doesn't, nobody looks at a holistic consolidated spend and takes that decision, or at least you have to coordinate with different stakeholders to get a sign off. You might have some technology initiatives planned your way in near future. You might be modernizing some applications. You might be planning for migrating from one region to another. You might be planning to go serverless. All those technology initiatives will restrict you from going ahead and making those commitments to AWS. As we talked about, you always lose some level of flexibility as and when you make those commitments. Also, in many cases, we have seen that customers, especially like startups, feel that it reflects as a commitment obligation reflects in their book of accounts, and hence not well appreciated by if you're looking for fundraise discussions. Maybe investors at times may not appreciate those commitment obligations in your books. In many cases, organizations which are well funded, backed by some marquee investors, there is always a mandate to like go ahead and take a sign off from that investor or a board of directors before you are able to make those commitments. And last but not least, you might be considering a multi-cloud or a different cloud platform strategy for your business in near future. All of these factors limit or stop the human behavior to go ahead and make those commitments, and hence the actual savings that we realize are generally much lower. Just to summarize again, we understand cloud cost optimization is a top priority. However, tracking and managing those commitments is complex as well as time-consuming task. Again, these are different categories that we look at. There could be lack of expertise or bandwidth. We are just overwhelmed by the number of choices, and there are business or financial or technology constraints, and we are not okay with the trade-offs that come because of those commitments. So how do we address this? At CloudKeeper, again, we have been helping 300 customers to help them run a cost-efficient setup on AWS. And we believe that automated reservation purchases takes away all these challenges, and that's the most efficient mechanism. As you scale, you would want to focus on product innovation and let AI generated systems do AI driven RE management to ensure that you achieve maximum savings. So how does CloudKeeper help? So we have different variations. Today we're talking about CloudKeeper Auto, which is a automation platform for RI ops. It's a zero touch platform which ensures maximum coverage of all your compute and RDS usage, while you are not doing any long-term commitments and you are not paying any additional cost for the platform. So we ensure, so basically, once you sign up on the platform tracks your overall usage and tries to cover maximum inventory under 3 years reservation and saving plan commitments. We already talked that we cover compute and RDS, which basically means all your EC2, ECS, EKS, Fargate, and RDS usage is covered. We do not charge any platform fees, and you only pay a fraction of savings that we actually deliver. What that means is that if we are not able to make any commitments, not able to deliver any savings, you don't have to pay us a penny in that case. At the same time, because we are doing automated purchases, you should expect that will get maximum coverage and much higher savings compared to whatever way that you're managing today. And last but not the least, we provide a guaranteed buyback coverage for all the unused reservation and saving plans, if any, that have been purchased by our platform. So if, let's say, it could be by design, you have done some optimization, or for some other reasons, your overall usage for compute or RDS goes down, you are not carrying any risk of those commitment obligations. Our platform will manage those. We will either leverage AWS Reservation Marketplace to resell those commitments. If not, then in a way we act as a secondary market broker, and we are able to absorb those commitments at our end, just because we are managing the inventory for multiple customers, so we can always move around and use that inventory elsewhere. So reservation or saving plan commitments is just one of the constructs. When you sign up as a customer on CloudKeeper Auto, you also get access to CloudKeeper Lens, which is our AWS cost visibility and governance platform, and where you get various insights around a summary of your last 7 days trend, what is the monthly forecast, what is the daily breakup, a quick comparison if you want to do a comparison of your daily spend or a previous month, last 6 months cost. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Kudos dashboards. That is something that Amazon actively promotes for the customers to analyze their costs. So there are multiple resource level Kudos dashboards that have been built into the system. So you can deep dive on your resource level breakup for S3, for data transfer, for each CloudFront distribution. You can look at that resource level breakup and a monthly or weekly trend across that cost. The platform also provides you the recommendations to move to latest generation, move to cheaper storage options, identify any legacy snapshots lying there in your account, and various other areas. I would also like to highlight that we are only primarily consuming AWS cost and usage report to provide all these insights. There is no access required to your infrastructure to provide any of the insights that are visible on the platform. Last but not the least, there is also a team of AWS certified architects and FinOps certified practitioners who work with your team and help you build a FinOps culture across all three different phases of FinOps lifecycle. And we help you establish org-wide processes and tools to keep a continuous track of the cost, define KPIs to benchmark and improve on your FinOps maturity on an ongoing basis. This team is also well versed with AWS well-architected review process. We have conducted more than 200 well-architected reviews in last year alone, and we help the customers provide actionable recommendations through these audits and well-architected reviews, using which they can reduce their cost without compromising on the performance, liability, or security of the platform, right? And then again, we run help them run a cost-efficient setup on an ongoing basis. Some of the key activities that we look at is we clearly work with your team to define the cost accountability across different teams, continuously identify waste and work with the team to eliminate those. We take care of the commitment planning and management. While the CloudKeeper Lens as a platform provides you a mechanism to configure alerts, many a times we realize that customers simply have not configured any notifications. So this team also keeps a track of any anomalies at our end. We validate whether there are any false positives or if it is a real deviation. And then we reach out to the relevant stakeholders to ensure that those anomalies are not missed and somebody acknowledges and acts on those anomalies. Then we also identify what are some of the cost governance guardrails that need to be put in place so that in case your security keys get compromised, if somebody launches unexpected infrastructure, how can you immediately get notified or prevent those? We do have multiple best practices that we again work with the customers and help them implement those practices. We work with your team to identify the relevant FinOps KPIs, which are different for each business. You might want to track it for different geographies, different products, different teams. You might want to track it for different environments, or you might want to look at cost per transaction, cost per order, basically the cost unit economics. We already talked about well-architected reviews. We also do a FinOps maturity assessment for our customers to help them realize the current state and then identify clear actionables to improve that state, right? And then this team provides clear actionable recommendations on how you can optimize the cost. Just to be clear, we do not charge any additional fees for the consulting and support that we are providing. We still make our generate our revenue or make money by charging a percentage of the savings that we are able to deliver by managing the reservation commitments for you. So we are, again, as I said, we are supporting across all three phases of the FinOps lifecycle. So in Lens, help you build that better visibility. CloudKeeper Auto ensures that you get maximum savings via high coverage and utilization of those commitments. And then the FinOps consulting team helps you run a cost optimized setup on an ongoing basis. Just a quick overview of the onboarding process. You can quickly go to auto.cloudkeeper.ai and sign up. There is no credit card or any other payment required. Once you sign up, you can just give us a very limited read-only access to your AWS cost and usage report and certain other access to analyze your EC2 and RDS usage trend. Once we analyze, you will be able to review the potential savings on the platform. Note that so far you have not made any commitment. You are not using the platform. You are just using it to look at the potential savings that the CloudKeeper Auto can deliver for you. If the savings look good, then you can choose to go ahead and enable RI Ops. And that is when we will ask for some additional access to be able to manage those commitment purchases in your account. And that is when we start acting on those potential savings and deliver those savings to you. Once that is done, CloudKeeper Auto will again keep a track on an ongoing basis to ensure that we deliver maximum coverage and utilization of those price constructs. overall, we have been working with customers for many years now and have delivered more than $100 million in savings to 300 plus customers so far. On an average, we are able to help achieve an savings of 20% for each customer that we work with. This is a quick overview of certain customers. Again, we have customers across all different industry sectors. I will just take a pause and let you take a quick look. All right, I will quickly stop the screen share and we'll take any questions and answers now.
We'll have to take up the questions one-on-one. You'll be receiving an email from our end. Yeah, we'll be happy to take up any questions or set up a discussion one-to-one. Once again, thank you so much. We look forward to conducting more webinars, more similar sessions in the future, and looking forward to your participation.
Thank you so much. Hope you found the insights useful, and we look forward to taking the discussion forward with you. Thank you.